Today's problem is merge intervals. Difficulty medium. Success rate is, it's not super high. Now the pattern here obviously is intervals. If you're preparing for intervals, if you're preparing for interviews, I put together a free PDF on patterns. The link to that is in the video description. Now I have to admit that intervals is not one of the patterns. There are 12 patterns. I do cover intervals in the full course, however. So let's see. This is asked at Google and Amazon. Problem description. Given a set of non-overlapping intervals and a new interval, insert the new interval into the set of intervals. Merge if necessary. You may assume that the intervals were initially sorted according to their start times. Make sure the returned intervals are also sorted. Okay. Problem constraints. Intervals. Number of intervals in the intervals input is between 0 and 10 to the 6th, 1 million. All right, so 0 there is an edge case, and we have to be sure to handle that. If you get a problem like this and you're not told, can the intervals input be null? Can the intervals input be empty? Then you need to ask that. Input format, an array of intervals, or in this case, a list of intervals. And the second argument is the new interval, and return the list of merged intervals. So in this case, input number 1, 2 and 5. All right, well, this first interval and the new interval, they do overlap. So to merge them, we'd get an interval of 1 to 5 and then 6 to 9. Now the second one, we'll go over that as an example when we walk through the solution. Anything else we need to know here? No. Okay. Usually this problem, when you see a problem merge intervals, usually what you get is you get an array or a list of intervals. Usually the list is not sorted, and then you merge the intervals in the list. Now the first thing to do is recognize that that's going to be easier if you sort it. So you sort it. Then you can take the first interval, put it in the solution list, and for each subsequent interval, you'll have, the previous interval, which is now in the solution list, and the current interval. Compare the start value of the current interval to the end value of the previous interval. If the start value is greater, then there's no overlap. So just put that interval into the result list. Now, if there is an overlap, then the new interval is going to be the start interval of the previous and the end. The start value of the previous, and then the end will be the greater of the end values of the previous and current. So, we'll be doing something like that as well, but it's a little bit of a new twist to say, all right, we're going to give you this list of intervals. They're already sorted, and you need to put this new interval into it. So, okay, let me see what is the best way to do this. Actually, I don't think I need to scoot it over that far. I want to be able to see this. So how far can I pull this over? That is about it. All right. Take a look at the method signature here. The input is, let's see, a list of intervals and the new interval. I say that because, let I'm going to pull this over so that we can see the example input and the code, which we can. All right. Okay, let's try this. So the first thing we do is create a result variable that's a list of intervals. I need to scroll this a little further. I do. All right, so the only thing that we're not going to be able to see here is return result. So let's assume that we know that. And, all right, for int I equals 0, let me get a pen here. All right, I equals 0. You know what, this would be better if I had a color that would show up on both of these. I think that, would this work? Oh, no, that's still white. Hang on. What if it was orange? Can you see orange over here? Can you see orange on this? Yeah, we can see orange on both of those. All right. So I is 0, interval equals, intervals get at I. So that would be this interval right here, 1, 2. There's 3 possibilities here. One is interval end, which is 2, is less than new interval start, which is 4. In that case, we just add the interval to the result. There's no overlap, so we'll put it down here. So that would be 1, 2. Okay, next time we come through here, I is 1, and we are at this interval right here. 3, 5. Is the interval end, which is 5, less than the new interval start? No. Right? So let's consider the second possibility, and that is that the new interval end, which is 5, is, I'm sorry, new interval end, I'm sorry, which is 9, is less than the interval start, which means it would go in front of the interval. And that's not the case either. So now we're down here, and we're going to get start, which is the min of the new interval start and the interval start. So that is 3 and 4. All right, so start is 3. End is the max of the end values. That is either 5 or 9. All right, so that would be 9. All right, so now we have new interval start is 3, new interval end is 9. All right, that would be the result of merging those two intervals. All right, let's go up again. This is 2, and we'll get the next interval, which is that one, 6, 7. Is the interval end, which is 7, less than new interval start? No. Is the new interval end, which is 9, less than the interval start, which is 6? No. All right, so we're going to have to merge these again. So the start now is the min of 3 and 6, which is 3. The end is the max of 7 and 9. So we merge those, but 6 and 7 merges entirely inside of 3 and 9. Okay, so the new interval stays the same. 3. Third interval is over here, 8, 10. Interval end, 10. Is it less than the new interval start? No. Is the new interval end, which is 9, less than the interval start, which is 8? No. All right, so we got to merge again. So start is the min of the starts, which is 8 and 3, so it stays at 3. End is the max of the end values, which is 9 and 10. So this is actually going to go to 10. All right. And we'll go up again. This is now 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the last one, 4. All right, so the fourth, index 4 is 12 and 16. Is the interval end less than the new interval start? No. Is the new interval end, which is 10, less than the interval start? Actually, it is. Yes. So we add the new interval to the result, and the new interval is 310. All right, so we add that. And at this point, we can add all the remaining intervals in the initial intervals list. So that's what this does. It gets a sublist starting at I going to the end of the intervals list. And the only thing in there actually is the 12, 16. So we'll put that 12, 16. And that is what we would return. Now I can't scroll and write at the same time, so try and remember that. 1, 2, 3, 10, 12, 16. Get rid of this. Where is the answer? 1, 2, 3, 10, 12, 16. So that is the correct answer. All right. So that's the merge interval process. And let's try it, see how it goes. Okay, thanks for watching. If you found this helpful in understanding intervals, hit like, subscribe, check out the playlist on the screen. Most people fail interviews because they don't recognize patterns. I wrote up the 12 that show up over and over as free PDF. Link is below in the video description.